Hey everyone, how are you? Welcome to another question and answer session for MRCS exam. So here the question: which of the following is true in connection with the phrenic nerve? So it is one of the direct question. Here is no scenario, and in this question they want to know which is true. Which is true? That means which is information true below regarding the phrenic nerve. So here the answering option, the options are they both lie anterior to the hilum of the lungs. They are derived from the spinal root cervical 2, cervical 3 and cervical 4. They pierce the diaphragm level at the level of cervical thoracic 7 vertebra. They consist of motor fibers only and none of the above. So we have to find out one of the options which is compatible with the phrenic nerve. That means which is true regarding the phrenic nerve. So first of all, in this picture we can see this is cartilage of the chest here, and in this picture we can see there is the lungs, and between the lungs there is the heart. Here this is the diaphragm, and above it there is the blood vessels, and we can see the phrenic nerve. This is the phrenic nerve, this one is the phrenic nerve. So phrenic nerve, it passes from the neck to the thorax, and finally this is up to the diaphragm to supply the diaphragm. And we can see this area, this is here we can see the blood vessel which is entering into the lungs and exit the lungs. This area is the hilum, and we can see the phrenic nerve, right and left phrenic nerve, they both lies anterior to this hilum. So the right phrenic nerve or left phrenic nerve, they are both located in the anterior aspect of the hilum, not the posterior aspect. So the phrenic nerve, both the right and left, they are located anterior to the hilum, because hilum in this area, and we know the hilum for any organ, hilum is nothing but a gateway. That means which is the main gate for any organ. So any of the structure want to enter this organ or wants to exit this organ, they have to pass through the hilum. And we can see this nerve, this is the phrenic nerve, it passes anterior to the hilum. Then in the second picture here we can see this is the phrenic nerve, and here we can see the cervical plexus here. And this phrenic nerve, it is arising from this chain nerve, and we can see this is the cervical 3, cervical 4 and cervical 5. So cervical 3, cervical 4 and cervical 5, they are the root for phrenic nerve. So this information also very important, that these three nerve root are the nerve root for the phrenic nerve. Then in this picture we can see this is the right phrenic nerve here, and here we can see the left phrenic nerve here. So the right phrenic nerve and the left phrenic nerve, we can see they enters into, they pierce the diaphragm through the central tendon. This is the central tendon, so the central tendon, and we know the central tendon, this is the inferior vena cava, it lies at the level of the thoracic 8, not thoracic 7. So the phrenic nerve, it pierces the diaphragm at the level of the thoracic 8 vertebral level. This is the thoracic 8 vertebral level. And this is details about the phrenic nerve. The phrenic nerve, it is a mixed nerve. Here we can see this is the mixed nerve, it has both sensory and the motor fiber. And we can see the motor supply, it supply the diaphragm. On the other hand, the sensory part, it supply the pericardium, it also supply the pleura and branches to mediastinum. So the phrenic nerve, it is one of the long nerve, it derived from the cervical plexus, from the root of cervical 3, cervical 4 and cervical 5. Then it travels to the thorax, and in the thorax they passes anterior to the hilum of the lungs, and then pierce the diaphragm at the level of the thoracic 8 vertebral level, and finally this is the undersurface of the diaphragm. And it is known to us to now that the phrenic nerve, it is one of the mixed nerve, and this mixed nerve has both motor and sensory. The motor, it is supplied by the diaphragm, and sensory, it supplies the pericardium, pleura and mediastinum. So here we can see now the true information regarding phrenic nerve, both lies anterior to the hilum of the lung. It is true they are derived from the spinal root of cervical 2, 3, 4. It is not true because not 2, it is the cervical 3, cervical 4 and 5. They pierce the diaphragm at the level of the thoracic 8. It is not true. It pierce the diaphragm at the level of the thoracic 8. Then they consist of motor fiber also. Not that, it has also the sensory branches, and these sensory branches supplies the pericardium, pleura, and mediastinum. And none of the above is not answered. So our final answer is the this. It both lies anterior to the root of the lung. Thank you.